Good morning, good afternoon, and good day, everybody. David here. Now, in today's Destiny 2 Witch Queen video, we are actually breaking down weapon crafting. So this is a brand new system that's come to Destiny 2, something that the community and me particularly have wanted for a very, very long time. But it's finally here, the means to craft your perfect weapon. So this video will cover exactly how it works, break down some of the weapons and stuff that you can craft, some tips and stuff on how to grind for the materials and stuff that you need, and also how to get the most bang for your buck basically when it comes to this new system. So without further ado, let's dive in. So during the campaign, really early on in the campaign as well, you'll discover the relic, which is on the Enclave on Mars. This is where you'll craft the glaive, which is the first weapon that you get to craft, and that is the Enigma glaive. Now all this happens in the campaign, like I said, really early on, so all that will be sort of self-explanatory. So with regards to when it comes to weapon crafting, there's either shaping a relic, which is creating an entirely new weapon, or reshaping, which is modifying a weapon that's already been crafted. Not all weapons in the game are available for crafting. So there's a list here when you come here. But there's also a list when you look at your triumphs and your patterns and catalysts page. It will show you what like patterns and stuff you've discovered and what weapons you can craft. So here I've just discovered the sidearm, so if I claim that, if I now look at the sidearms back at the relic, you'll see that the sidearm's been unlocked. Whilst you're looking at the patterns and catalyst page, it actually tells you the requirement you need to meet to unlock these weapons as well. So say if I want to unlock this auto rifle, completing deep sight resonance extractions on this weapon will unlock its pattern 0 of 2. So I need to find 2 of these weapons that have the deep sight resonance attached to it and complete those to be able to unlock these weapons. What is the deep sight resonance, David? Well, I'm glad you asked. So the deep sight resonance is a weapon that has a red border around it, basically. When you look at this weapon, it will say at the bottom there, this weapon has active deep sight resonance that can be progressed. So as soon as you get this to drop, and these can drop from anywhere. So I've had these from the paracausal halls that I've handed in at Starhorse. I've had this drop at the chest that's near Xur for the anniversary stuff. I've had these drop at the end of Crucible matches. I've had these just drop in the wild whenever I've killed an enemy. So these drop completely just random. But something to know, not every weapon that has a red border is a craftable weapon. So don't get confused with that, because the craftable weapons also have this red tinge to them. So just because this Twilight Oath has like a red border doesn't mean it's actually craftable. So again, it will claim whether it's a deep sight resonance weapon, or it will have the weapon level bar if it's a weapon you've actually crafted. So to progress this, you use it, so you get kills with it. I've worked out a kill is about 2%. I think it just changed slightly for if it's a heavy weapon or if it's a special or primary. But the key thing to remember is that the progress goes up for completing activities as well. And that jumps up by like 30-odd%. So definitely equip these if you're about to finish a strike or at the end of a Crucible match or something. If there's any of these you're working on, equip it to complete it. Because then you'll only need to do like 3 strikes or whatever to completely finish the weapon. And that's if you're not actually using it to get kills during that strike. Because obviously, role dependent, the weapon might be utterly trash. So you might not want to use it to like optimize your build. So another thing to note, when you have finished leveling it up, you'll unlock this little like icon here. And this will award you the materials you need to craft your weapon. But you can only choose one, so you have to choose between either the adroit element with the neutral elements or the mutable element with the neutral elements there as well. So you can only choose one or the other. Also, once you've claimed those, the weapon becomes normal again. So if it is a trash roll, say like this one for me, once I've completed this and claimed the materials that I want, I'm going to dismantle this, and then you get more materials when you dismantle it as well. Specifically a resonant alloy, which is like a common material that you need for weapon crafting. So when you're at the relic and you want to actually create a weapon, you obviously choose the weapon you've unlocked. So for me right now, I'm going to look at the shotgun because I've not long unlocked that. You click on it, this page will come up. Again, this same page you come across in the campaign when you're making your glaive. So the first thing you do is adjust the frame. So in this case, because this is an aggressive shotgun, the frame will always state that it's an aggressive frame. So you don't change the frame. You can't make this a lightweight frame, for example. But once you've created the weapon and you level it up, you'll unlock these other options which have different masterworks attached to them. So you can unlock a tier 10 handling masterwork at level 7, for example. And you can see there that it costs resonant alloys, which are the currency we get for dismantling a weapon, and glimmer and cores as well. So definitely dismantle any gear that you don't want to keep, and save up on your resonant alloys to actually create your dream weapon. Don't just keep creating weapons left, right and center because you'll quickly run out of materials. With regards to enhancement cores, to get those, there's different mods on the Ghost you can equip. So there's one here for precision final blows in the Crucible, have a chance to award an enhancement core. I normally get actually 2 or 3 cores during a match whenever I have this equipped, so it's fairly often. There's also ones for defeating invaders in Gambit. And then another great one is the Finest Master Weave. So if you use one of these, you get a little buff on your screen here, and whenever you kill a yellow bar enemy, there's a chance they'll drop an enhancement core, and then you could just proc another one straight away, and then the next enemy you kill will have another one. So as you're going about your PvE activities, just remember to keep proccing these if you have them. That's what I've been doing. I had close to 300, and it's helped bump my enhancement cores right up. So once you've picked your frame, so because we haven't created this weapon yet and we haven't been able to level it up, I can only unlock the basic frame at the minute. But once you apply that, it comes up with the perks available then. So this is where the awesome stuff happens. You can choose what barrels you want, making your perfect weapon. So obviously for a shotgun, most people opt for full choke or rifled barrel. So these require the weapon to be level 4 or 5. So again, because we're not at that level yet, we have to make sort of a basic one to be able to level it up to then unlock the better perks on it. So I'm going to equip small bore because smooth bore increases the projectile spread, which is the opposite of what you want to happen on a PvP shotgun particularly. So I'm going to go small bore. That increases the range and stability, so it's pretty decent still. And then again, you keep going across the perk columns, just unlocking the things that you actually want. And each time you do this, you'll notice that it's costing neutral element common material, which again you unlock by leveling up the deep sight weapons, which are the weapons with the red border and says deep sight resonance on it. Now the 2 last perk columns are the most interesting ones. Not only do they have the the main perks for the weapon, so in this case dual loader or subsistence, auto loading, etc., but it also has enhanced traits. So this is a brand new thing, and only craftable weapons at the minute can get these enhanced traits. So this is a reason to craft your perfect weapon, because these are just better versions of the already good perks. So for example, perpetual motion I class as one of the best perks in the game. I absolutely love this. So I would be mad to not grind for an enhanced version of my favorite perk, which will make this shotgun ridiculous. But again, you can only get there once you've crafted the weapon initially and then leveled it up, and then we'll reshape it later, which we'll cover in just a sec. So for now, because there's only PvE options here, I'm actually going to change this slightly into more of a PvE shotgun and use it to kill just normal ads and stuff. Now I'm going to go for demo in the last column, I think. So now that we've picked all the perks, now this column is a memento socket. So if anyone played Black Armory back in the day, they'll remember what the memento socket was. For all those that are new to the game, mementos are like basically consumables, like cosmetic things. So in this case, it says mementos are optional consumables that grant unique cosmetics and trackers. Acquire mementos by completing high difficulty activities. So I've not seen what a memento looks like for these craftable weapons, but back in the Black Armory days, it gave the weapon a really cool glow. It was like a shimmering effect along the weapon, and then it also made it so that weapon was doing more damage in Black Armory activity, so the activity that the memento was actually designed for. That may be the case for this. Possibly you might get different raid mementos, maybe ones for like trials and stuff as well. That would just make this weapon better, like perform better in whatever game mode the mementos for. But that's all just speculation at the minute, because like I said, we've not actually seen anything yet, so we don't know exactly what it entails. But once you've done all that, you can finalize it and it will show you the complete costs of everything. I'm not actually going to make this now because I don't want to spend all of my neutral elements on this shotgun. It's going to cost $750 out of the 860 that I've got, so I'm not going to create this now because I'm working on some other weapons and stuff anyway. That's something I do recommend. Save up for the weapon that you actually want, because especially this early in the season, materials are harder to come by and it is a big grind to get all those. So once you have crafted the weapon, so here's one I crafted earlier. I feel like I'm on a cooking program. Here's one I've made earlier. So I made this fusion. This is to go in tandem with my Titan build that I made a video of previously, if you want to check that out. But there's a perk in this last column, gives you an overshield when you damage the shields of a Guardian when they're in their super. So I thought that sounded amazing for my Titan like overshield build. So I created this weapon to level it up to be able to unlock that perk down the line. So much like we were looking at the shotgun and we wanted to unlock full choke and we had to get the weapon up to level 15, I have to level this weapon up. Turnabout perk is the one I was after, so we will actually unlock the basic version at level 4. So then I'll be able to recraft this weapon to put that perk on to then try with my Titan build. And if I don't like it, and I do actually prefer Adagio, I can then reshape it to change it back. So this is why the weapon crafting thing is just awesome. It just allows you to try out different builds, different versions of the weapon without having to just rely on RNG and keep grinding and just hope that you get the perk to drop that you want to try. To level it up, you just use the weapon. You get kills with it and it goes up quite slowly, to be honest. It is a hell of a grind, so I've been using this during the campaign and stuff, and as you can see, I've only got it up to like 74% so far, taking a fair while. So this is not something you could just do overnight. You could farm this a bit faster by doing things like the throwaway and just farming enemies, but I find that boring, so I'm just going to use it as I'm going about my day doing my daily grind anyway. Now, another thing to note, when looking at the enhanced traits, we go along here, you'll see it starts to cost other materials. So we've got that adroit element, which again you get from dismantling the deep sight weapons, the ones with the red borders, but you also get this ascendant alloy, which is an exotic material. You get 2 of these during the campaign. You can also buy these from Master Rahul in the tower, but they cost 400 legendary shards. So someone like me, that's not that much of a blow. I could buy a few, but for a brand new player, like, you need legendary shards for so many things, so 400's a lot to ask for. You can also level up the gunsmith in the tower. At rank 16, I believe it is, or one of the higher ranks anyway, you'll unlock one. You can also unlock these by leveling up Finch. Also, once you've completed the campaign and you've leveled Finch up, you'll unlock like weekly campaign missions, much like Shadowkeep and Forsaken had previously. And then when you complete those weekly campaign missions, you also get an Ascendant Alloy to drop from that. So far, that's all we know about. So as for some tips when it comes to weapon crafting, definitely level up all of your deep sight weapons, either by killing stuff or by equipping them when you complete an activity. When it comes to choosing the material that you get rewarded for completing it, you can either just alternate between them, make sure you have enough of both if you're not sure what like weapon or perk, whatever you're after. But I would spend some time actually looking at specifically what you're after. So again, in my case, because I'm after the perk for this weapon, that turnabout perk, I know that to unlock the better version, I need an Ascendant Alloy, which I've got one, and I need the mutable element, so I know now to save up for that element specifically to unlock this perk. Golden Tricorn also interests me, so I want to try that out at some point. So again, I also need Ruinous Element then, and possibly another Ascendant Alloy if I want to be able to swap between the two. So if you've got a specific build in mind, definitely save your materials up. Create just a basic weapon that will do a specific job. So again, this one was built with the idea that stability is the most important thing for fusions. These perks work in tandem together, and then this just happens to be one of the best perks for fusions anyway, and it just happens to be the first thing you unlock, so I managed to make a good roll there. But like when we were crafting the shotgun earlier, at first I wanted to spec to a PvP roll, and once I realised the perks available to it were all PvE focused, I then changed it to be a PvE focused shotgun. So then I could level it up in sort of the activity it's designed for, and it will be better for it, rather than trying to use a rubber shotgun in PvP or something to level it up when you're going to get less kills with it just because it's not that good a roll, if you know what I mean. I would also focus on just one weapon. So I have been using the glaive up to this point. It was the only weapon I used to level up. And now that I've got this, I'm solely focusing on this. And I've also got a pulse rifle that I'm working on. And this just happens to be a good combo of primary weapon and secondary. So I could use this in any aspect of the game and not be at a detriment. For example, I'm not working on two special weapons at the same time, sort of thing. This is a grind. It's going to take a while. Like I said, there's little ways around it. You could just farm enemies over and over at the throwaway or around the entrance to the dungeon or something. But for me, I'm just going to keep playing through the campaign, start doing strikes and gambit and stuff, grinding for other weapons, and just using these whilst I'm doing that, so they'll level up just naturally over time. Another thing people were slightly misunderstood about is the deep sight resonance weapons don't have any other bonuses to them. So once you have used them and leveled it up and claimed your reward, they just turn back to normal versions of the weapon. So they don't get any other benefit. And again, they could drop from anywhere, and it could be any weapon, so you can get some in the heavy slot as well. So one final tip, if you're after a specific weapon, so let's say you want to be able to craft this. You remember when we looked at the patterns and catalysts for the SMG, it says you need to complete 3 of these deep sight resonances. So we've only got 1 so far. The drops are RNG to an extent, but to sort of refine that RNG a little bit, in this particular scenario, this is a new weapon dropping from the throne world. That means doing activities around the throne world, so either doing stuff for Finch, doing more of the campaign, doing any like public event, or killing the like mini bosses that can just be randomly roaming around, doing the lost sectors. Anything that's sort of linked to the throne world has a chance of dropping one of those weapons. So always bear in mind sort of the weapon you're after, where it drops from, and so you can sort of refine that loot pool a bit more. So another example would be this pulse, Peace of Mind. That's actually from the Season of the Risen stuff. So it's not actually Witch Queen related. So then you want to do the Rising Tensions quest line to unlock the sort of Season of the Risen like event, and then completing that event has a chance to award you those weapons. And then you can also earn umbrals, which you can then focus specifically to get Season of the Risen weapons. So then you'll be able to sort of curve the RNG specifically for like that pulse by going up that route. But that should do it for the video, guys. Hopefully you found it informative and helpful. I'm a big fan of this weapon crafting system already, but as I've said throughout, it's a hell of a grind, and I think it should be, to be honest. I don't really want a game where you can just craft like your perfect weapons within like the first 2 days and then you have no reason to play anymore. So and also it means you're invested more into whatever weapon you're going for. So not everyone can have some ridiculous shotgun just straight off the bat. You sort of have to put the hours and the work in, and it slowly trickles into the meta then, and yeah, it's just healthier for the balance of the game. If you have liked it and found it informative, please hit the like button and subscribe as well. You guys have been popping off lately with the subscriptions, so that's incredible. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, enjoy it. Enjoy the Witch Queen content. I'm thoroughly having a blast so far, and I hope you guys are as well. Until next time, stay safe, keep up the grind, and I shall catch you all very soon. Bye, bye.